is your very first one, okay? Whether you were acting as a client victim or whether you were acting as a Red Cross, I think there was something for everybody to learn as a Red Cross. One of the main things you got to remember in Red Cross or in a shelter simulation is that you have to use the IC method of command structure. You have somebody at the top, which is your shelter manager, then you have everybody else below that, okay? And that shelter manager designates somebody in charge of food, somebody in charge of the dormitory, somebody in charge of the play area, somebody in charge of the seniors, somebody taking care of any medical issues that might be. At least they're aware of them, whether they're an RN, a nurse, or a doctor. It's immaterial. They're just there to make sure that those needs are met in some fashion. And sometimes that some fashion just happens to be only what you got. What you got is what you got. Okay? Nobody's going to come down and be able to rescue you for the first 72 hours. You guys are going to be on your own for 72 hours. No matter where your shelter is, whether it's up in Ebbets Pass, down in Valley Springs, or here. 72 hours, 3 days. You're probably going to be on your own. All right? And that's all of Calaveras Red Cross, because we're all going to be here within a matter of hours. We're going to be here to help. Wherever that shelter is opened up in Calaveras, all of us are going to be there to help. But the people that have had all the experience, like this young lady right here, it might take her 3 days to get there. Probably, the way she drives, probably a day and a half. Okay? So,
it depends on where she's staying.
It depends on where she's staying at the time. So, we all made some mistakes. Okay? I made some mistakes today. CERT made mistakes. Fire made mistakes. These are mistakes that we learned here. These are not mistakes that we're going to repeat next year, or we're going to repeat in an actual event, okay, where we have to have a shelter, where we have to go out and direct traffic for fire, where we have to go out and do fire rehab. All right? So these are the kind of mistakes that I like to make. I really do, because I won't make these in a real-time scenario. I'll make new mistakes. All right?
We're always going to make mistakes.
We're always going to make mistakes. Debbie has a few things that she would like to mention.
First, I want to say thank you all for your participation and coming out here. It was huge that you did that. You gave us some time to come in and train and learn, and that's really great. I really do appreciate that. I want to point out that sometimes personalities don't always agree, and you may not get along with somebody. But when you're in a situation like this, we kind of have to put those things behind us, and whether it's male, female, in charge, or not in charge, the ICS system is put into place to help us with that. We know to go to our supervisor. We know how to handle that. That's really, really important. And during a real disaster, during playtime when we're playing with the drills and doing stuff, we know in the back of our head this is just a drill. And believe it or not, that has a tendency to come out. Whether we want it to or not, we already know it's a drill, so we're not really going to. And that's okay. But during a real disaster, we don't have that forehand knowledge of what's going to happen. So we may have to work with people that we normally wouldn't get along with, or we have a personality conflict with. It doesn't matter at that time. It's just important to understand that we're all doing this as one to help. And if we could just kind of remember that, and you're going to have difficult times, you're going to have easy times. But the most important is the incident command system. It really is. It's in place for a reason. Yes.
And that was one of the biggest mistakes I made today, was I gave you too much information to begin with. So you knew what was coming around the bend. You had a basic idea. And in a real life scenario, you're not going to have that idea. You really aren't going to have that idea. And that was the biggest mistake that I will not make again. You guys will be showing up for an event, you'll be showing up in the blind. And then you do what you got to do. And the best way to do it is know who to report to, and who to take your orders from, and who to give orders to, okay? Remember that if it's an unsafe order, question it. If it's not an unsafe directive, it's usually a directive, it's not an order.
Yep, no, that's pretty much it. It's we just have to remember that this, they do the incident command because it works and it helps. Me personally, that's huge for me, because then I know who I have to account to, and I know who I have to report to. Makes it so much easier than I'm just standing going, I don't know who I'm supposed to tell, and then it may get forgotten because I don't know who's in charge, or or who's going to pass that information on to who it needs to go to. So that's the importance of it, is knowing that who I know I'm going to go to. My supervisor, say you're my supervisor, and there was an incident, excuse me, at the shelter, and I kind of saw it happen, but I'm really kind of nervous. I don't know who to tell or what to tell. I at least know that you're my supervisor. So I can come to you and say, I saw this happen, I'm really scared, but I saw this happen, I'm gonna turn this over to you. So then you know where your boundaries are as that supervisor, whether you need to go up to your supervisor, or whether you can handle it at your level. So that's the importance of knowing those steps and those guidelines so that you know where to go with something. Or if it's something good. I mean, it doesn't always have to be a negative to go to a supervisor. So it's just, if we need a refresher on the incident command system, that's great, because I always can use a refresher. So Dennis and I talked about that, and it might be a good idea for all of us to go through it. So, but most of all, you guys did an outstanding job. And when you first start, it's always chaotic. It really is. It's organized chaos. And as time rolls in, it starts smoothing out. As you saw within, what, 45 minutes, we were really, you had the room set up, you had it divided for where your medical was going to go, where we had the regular center folks coming in, we had the children's center set up, the kitchen was going, registration was good. We had LSAP at the door, not letting anybody in or out without checking, making sure no photographs were being taken without asking permission first. So you guys did a wonderful job. You really did. And you all deserve a great kudos for that. So thank you for being Red Cross. Thank you for coming out and taking an afternoon and wanting to do this. It's huge. And wanting to train so that it's not so much if it's going to happen, when it happens. We're ready to do it. We're ready to handle our community. So thank you very much.
Team leads. Far ahead of everybody else that surrounds us in this county. We're so far ahead of Tuolumne County. We're far ahead of Alpine County. Far ahead of Amador County. You got to remember, and I've told you this many times, is that we have more people for Red Cross in this county. We have 84. That's more than Sacramento County, San Joaquin County, Alpine County, Amador County, and Tuolumne County have combined. Okay? I don't know how many Tuolumne's got. So, I believe Chief Stone has a few words he would like to say.
You guys probably realize, but I mean, this facility has been on kind of OES's shelter list, for a long time. But really until the last year or so, it was just that. It was a place on a list, and there was no reality that it would ever be used as a shelter or could be used as a shelter. And so the progress that we've made in the last year and actually testing, actually knowing that it is actually available, as the local fire chief here, that is really, really something to be proud of. And it's really something that I'm very happy to have in the back of my mind, to know that if we decide we are going to have some kind of shelter facility or something here, that it will actually happen. Because 5 years ago or whatever, we would have talked about it, but it never would have happened. It was impossible.
Well, today we had a CalWorks representative in this building.
All day with us.
All day with us. And I made her do the initial inspection, and she was so grateful.
Yes, she was. She was.
She said, I've never done this. I am very thankful, and she is going to pursue it with all the other sites. So,
big kudos.
yeah, you guys did very, very well.
So, I'm not sure exactly what time I walked in to kind of check on things, but it was nice. I walked in and I'm like, I don't know a whole lot about how you actually do it, but it looked like. Well, and that's half the battle. When somebody walks in, you look like you know what you're doing. And if you look like you know what you're doing, there's a real good chance you'll get it done. So thank you.
Yes, sir, Marty.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I was called out several times for taking pictures, so kudos to all of you. Even though that was my initial job. Liz is taken for the site and whatever. And then also, we need to all remember that 8 years ago, maybe 9 by now, it's when Dennis and Dee and Steve and the team up in District 2 started putting this all together, and that's why we're here today, so thank you for that. Perseverance, and there was something else I wanted to there was something else that was big, and I forgot it.
Does
Those
anybody
young
else have any
children.
comments they want to
Oh,
make?
yes. Thank you for recognizing that, I saw you had a children's set up over here, and I was, for the children that, they were invisible today, but for recognizing that I was an inappropriate adult to be with those children. And for somebody came and got me out of there. I don't remember who it was. And several of you checked and make sure I wasn't causing trouble. But I was, an inappropriate adult to those children, and that was big.
Well, we all knew that.
That was big. But that was big. You picked up on it, and I'm going to say to my fellow actor victims, they were so good that they started to irritate me.
Oh, yeah.
She was so believable. Really? Anyway.
I need a policeman.
They were great. So
I want to do one real fast thing. Someone made a comment that, wow, this is kind of overwhelming. Having all these people come in and not knowing what to do. Or they knew what they had to do, but it was like overwhelming hearing their stories and listening, and it was without getting emotional yourself. And that was a good point. That's a very good point. When it's really happening, it's going to be a lot worse than that, those feelings, because in your mind it's really happening. And my point to that person was, you can stop and say, I need to take a break from this, and if we don't have a mental health worker here, take a coworker aside and just share with that. Don't think that you have to sit there and keep feeling this anxiety of, this is overwhelming to me. I don't want you to do that, because then we're jeopardizing your health too. And that's not what we want to do. And we're not going to be able to help the clients that come in if we're feeling overwhelmed and stressed at the same time. So it's okay to say, well, we need to stop this for a minute. And it's a lot of emotions right now. And it's okay. It's okay to do that, and don't feel bad about doing it. Absolutely.
I remember what it was. I do remember what it was. It wasn't the case.
That wasn't the case.
No. But when we make our announcements, you're talking about being overwhelmed.
Mhm.
The people coming in are overwhelmed, and somebody was here and was going, I need information! And she was really on it,
Right.
And,
She's in the kitchen.
oh, yeah. Terry Perry! Anyway,
Very tolerant.
when I saw So when our announcements were made to inform the folks of the updates,
Right.
it just occurred to me that these people, we need to let them know. I'm thinking that we need to let them know that this is Calaveras County. The right people are in the right place, and they're trained, and they're ready to go, and they're doing their job. And not to worry, we'll give you more information when we get it. But I mean, just that part. I think we missed that little part.
Anybody else have anything they want to add?
Anything that you may have seen that we need to improve on, or that we did really well?
I thought the IC system was more apparent and clearer, easier to identify with than the previous 2 shelter simulations I went through.
Very good.
We're learning.
Why was that?
We're
I felt
learning.
the same way.
We're just learning.
It's all a learning process, and even
It
though
was
you
handled
take
different this time.
And even though you take the training, if you're not using it all the time, you have a tendency to forget some things. Absolutely. So by training, it kind of refreshes our memories and keeps us going, and it doesn't hurt to have a refresher every once in a while. I go through them all the time.
Sure, go ahead.
I was one of the first 3 people in the building, and as people came in, and I just felt so supported, because it's overwhelming. You're trying to set up tables and put up signs and do all these things to try to organize the space, and then people started coming in, and it was like just solidness on all sides, and people pitching in and doing whatever. And it just felt so good. I just feel like the cavalry's here.
Yeah, you got help.
Yeah.
You got help.
So when we get the call, we have to show up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, and a lot of folks don't realize that if, how many of you here from Oak Hill? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you from here from Mountain Ranch? Raise your hand. Okay. So you've got 4 people here in Mountain Ranch. You got 5, 6 over there in Oak Hill. And if they're going to open up a shelter, you think those 5 here and those 6 over there can do it all for 72 hours by
How many
themselves?
people are here from West Point?
What you got to remember is it's not just your community that needs the help. Because when you need the help, you want the other communities to be able to come here to help you. Otherwise, you're on your own. They're not going to come. So what we need to do is make sure that we tell our friends and neighbors and fellow Red Crossers that if we need to go to San Andreas and you can go, go. When the call comes, you say, well, I can't make it. I've got a babysitter problem, but I can be there in 5 hours. Be there, you know, just so that they know. You know, when you get that call, say, I can't make it now, but I can make it at noon tomorrow if you still need me. Okay?
Well, and see, and some of the things is that we also had San Andreas here, and most of us here in this room wear multiple hats. We're either CERT, or we're CERT and DAT, or we're DAT. San Andreas split their teams as well. So they were here as well. So we're
Now
not
that's consolidated.
alone. And so was Valley Springs, and Copper was here. So we, and Jenny Lynn, but we aren't alone.
So how many different districts do we have represented today?
I think there was 6.
6.
or 7.
Good. Murphy's, we're at a half.
Yeah, 7, you're right, 7.
Go forth and multiply.
So we had quite a turnout for us, so kudos to all of you. I'm
It was amazing to
serious.
see this whole room filled up, standing up there.
Oh, yeah.
Really, this whole room was filled up with people.
We set out 100, how many chairs? 100? 100 chairs, and there was
They were
standing
standing.
room, people sitting outside. Okay, so firefighters say, young firefighters say we learned a lot. I heard a lot of folks say, well, it's not really real, but then it's a practice. Okay, but you got to remember that if you practice, then when the real thing happens, you will do what you practiced. If you don't practice, you're going to make those mistakes because you haven't practiced.
Another good thing, I don't know who set up the kitchen area and how it worked,
Miss D?
but I was excited to be
Chris?
part of that. But as the people coming through the line, we never had a backup. I mean, it always flowed. And, big. You know, I remember you said that in big disasters, a lot of meals go out in those clamshells.
Uh-huh.
We used paper plates, paper, not styrofoam. Whoever made that decision, I applaud you. And no bowls. They put it right on the chili dog, right on the dog, so less to go in the landfill. So applause.
Just a chief stone.
Does anybody else have anything?
Most of us
Big
done
Pete?
most of them.
Yeah.
Fire?
Well, I told Marty she wasn't supposed to be taking any pictures.
Very good.
But
Yes, you have
I found
something?
out she was.
And Mr. Loyal over
Depends
there,
what
he
hat
had an
she
assigned post and he never left it.
And he didn't.
No.
It was kind of lonely back there in the
I
corner.
know.
I was just thinking it'd be nice, I know some people were saying that the coffee is a nice familiar thing to have, but it would be nice if there's also juice or maybe even some herbal tea available, because over there with those, like, a lot of different situations with people that aren't quite all together over
She's
there.
being so bad.
Be nice not to just
There was no
caffeinate them and
cocoa.
sugar them.
During a real,
Yeah.
during a real
Warming
event, you'll
center?
have them.
Yeah, just like we use make-believe snacks.
Yeah, I use make-believe snacks.
Right, but during a real warming center or a shelter, you're gonna have those snacks, the tea, the coffee, the cocoa, all of that out.
Because when the
for your
accidents information came in, we just calmed them down, and then they got especially worse because they all just had cookies and caffeine, as well as they're already crazy. So then we had to then we had the medical people out.
So you guys, you all did a real good job. You
Yeah.
really did. You all did a good job. There were some errors, some mistakes that were made that you won't make next time. You have a whole folder full of Red Cross banners and posters, and every one of those banners and posters should have been out. Okay?
Well,
So next time, just remember that
we
you
put
have
out
those.
as many as we could find.
That, Okay. So you put out as many as you can
No
find?
Red Cross ones though.
No.
And we
So-
had to make
Just
some
the
new ones
signage.
because someone was out there
Just the
tearing them
signage,
down.
none of
Yeah.
the ones that
And,
say.
and you're gonna have that, and you're gonna have that.
I didn't go out and inspect it, I'm
And
sorry.
it's out there
No,
removing
that
the posts.
is where you're.
You're gonna have that. You're gonna have signs go up,
No,
and
no, they-
people will say, I can't find the shelter because there's no sign. You're gonna have to redirect somebody to go up with a new sign.
Oh.
Okay.
Out and about.
Yeah, out and about, okay? We need to have signs directing folks to come to the shelter, because what CHP and the fire is gonna do is they're gonna say the shelter's in Mountain Ranch, go to Mountain Ranch. Well, this ain't a big bird, but you can get lost in Mountain Ranch, you really can, especially if you don't know where you go. So what you do is you put signs out here, yeah. You put signs out here on the main highway with an arrow that says, just has a red cross and an arrow. That's all you gotta have, a red cross and an arrow. And we have those banners, okay? You just have to figure out how you're gonna post them, because we don't have anything to post them on.
So my suggestion was that we invest in H signs that have no signage on it, just regular H signs. You can put those H signs in the ground and
Yep.
tape our signs to
Well,
them.
hang on a second. PG&E we did a program, red and green means go. I'm not quite sure what the program, where that came from, but anyway, PG&E promoted that. They bought us 50,000 of those
H signs?
plastic H signs.
Cool.
So I'm going to bring you up one case of them.
Yay.
And what we used them for, really we did, we sent them back with Sandy, for Hurricane Sandy. And you can take your plastic sign and put it over that other one and you got a perfect sign.
And you have
put
a
it in
bunch
the
of
ground.
ones too.
What's that?
There's
We
some-
do.
bunch of-
Kurt's right.
Anybody else have anything?
Oh, you have a bunch of them from.
Okay, I believe Cards is gonna be driving all of our emergency exit routes, okay, out of West Point and around Calaveras County. If you would like to join them in that little tour, because it's a nice day, it's a nice day's drive on the back roads of Calaveras County, let Sam know.
Sam, when are you doing it?
Today?
Not today, I don't think.
No,
you-
June.
No, it's actually did this morning, no. We plan to do that in July, August, September.
Because basically what we do is
The
once
roads are
the,
open now, well, I want to get some of the main ones for the fire route done first. So there's two routes, the one going up to Alpine County, and one that ends up at White Pines.
did you folks, did you guys know SBI's division chief that was here? Tim Tate was here today.
We probably got them in a picture.
Sierra
Tim Tate was
Pacific?
here today. Okay, so SBI, Sierra Pacific Industries, is interested in what we're doing, and we have an agreement with them and to make sure that any of their roads that they have, any of the exit roads that we find brush on or it's overcrowded, what have you, that we'll get together with CAL FIRE or with SBI, we'll see if we can't get those cleared. Okay, so that's one thing that we're doing with Sierra Pacific Industries. But he was interested enough to attend today on his day off. And he did not have to. So he was here to see what we were doing, what we were all about. So maybe we impressed him enough that we can get some more involvement from our local logging company. Because they're the largest landowners around, outside of the U.S. Forest Service.
You know, I don't know, I was gonna ask you how well our radio thing went today. I saw the three guys and they were just.
We need
totally
to
on
discuss
board.
that, and we're gonna work on that some more. There was some confusion on the radios, and we're gonna take care of that. Part of our communication problem is, we can't communicate or should not communicate with fire. Fire can't communicate with CHP. CHP can't communicate with fire. So what we want to make sure that we can do with Aries and with, RACES is make sure the ham radio operators, that they have a ham radio operator shadowing the incident commander down there, the incident commander up here, and the shelter, so that people can relay messages between those. Okay? Relay messages between those. And we're working on that. This is only the second time we've done it. The first time we really screwed up. Okay?
We didn't screw
We
up.
really did. So this time we made some mistakes, but we didn't make them as bad as we did last time. And next time we're not going to even make any mistakes.
When you know better, you do better. We're good.
We're going to do better.
See if we can get folks to help us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need to clean up, put things away. Thank you very much.
Where did everything go?